Yesterday evening at approximately 7:15 p.m., officers from the Wyoming Department of Public Safety responded to the 3500 block of South Division on what originally was dispatched as a holdup alarm at 3530 South Division. While down there, we received other calls about an individual nearby in the area that was reported to have a gunshot wound to their chest. Officers responded to that area and gave medical treatment along with other first responders. The individual in that was 15 years old, received a gunshot wound to the chest, was transported to a local hospital for treatment, is in serious condition, but I believe, last I know, is expected to survive. The rest of the story is this individual involved was with two other subjects who went into this business shortly before it was called into us and attempted to what's known as a takeover robbery. The three individuals went into the store there. The only person inside was the store employee. There was a fight that occurred between the three individuals and the store employee. At that point, the employee in the store had a legally owned weapon that they were licensed to carry and fired one shot, struck one of the individuals in the chest. All three individuals fled at that time. The individual who'd been injured ran off down the street a little bit and was found by a citizen who called 911 so he could get medical treatment. The other two individuals fled on foot and are still outstanding. They did arrive at the scene in a stolen vehicle that had been reported stolen out of the city of Grand Rapids, I believe earlier in the day. That vehicle was recovered at the scene. There was some evidence in there that's going to assist our investigators in identifying these other two suspects at the time. The investigation on that's obviously ongoing right now. And once the investigation's concluded, that will obviously all be sent up to the Kent County Prosecutor's Office to be reviewed on not only the robbery portion of that, but the weapons discharge.
You're talking about a store takeover. Can you explain more what you mean?
When I say store takeover, that's a robbery we see. There might not necessarily be weapons involved, but usually multiple individuals will enter a business and just attempt to get what they want by force, just by sheer force of numbers, whether they use physical force on people or just overwhelm store employees with their sheer numbers, or will, use the number of people they have with them to force store employees into a back room or something, and just basically use physical force to get what they want.
Were they armed?
Not that we know at this time, but again, we're still investigating every lead, so.
Are you seeing a number of these kind of store takeovers? Is this something that's been happening in the Grand Rapids area, Wyoming area?
In this area, they're fairly unusual. We do see these occasionally, but it's certainly not a common occurrence.
Can you say if the stolen car was a Kia or a Hyundai?
It was not. I believe it was actually a Ford.
Okay.
So.
Can you talk about though? We've been talking about kids and stealing stolen cars. This has been going on for like months now, and everybody's been saying that something bad could happen from this. And now we have a 15-year-old shot in the chest. Can you explain that and talk to people what's been going on with this?
Certainly. I think we all, in the last few months and this year, we've seen a huge uptick in the number of stolen vehicles. Not just in Wyoming, but obviously not even in West Michigan. This is actually a nationwide issue with vehicles being stolen. A lot of times those vehicles are stolen and used to commit crimes. In many cases, not all the cases, the individuals involved in this are juveniles or teenagers. And it's certainly a huge cause for concern because we have our area youth involved in serious crimes. They're stealing a car, which in and of itself is a serious crime, and then furthermore, they occasionally get used to commit additional crimes. It's something we've been concerned about here at Wyoming. We've been trying to address it, and it's indeed a problem in the area.
How difficult is it to address a problem like this? Because they are juveniles,
It is, and it can be a challenge when dealing with juvenile crime. So we do the best we can in that. We have a number of resources that are available, and we do work with the Kent County Prosecutor's Office and some of the next task force. There is an auto theft task force in the area that puts a lot of work into these particular crimes.
Maybe you mentioned this, but what kind of weapon did the store employee use in this?
It was a handgun. I do not know what kind.
Fired one shot, did you say?
Yes, one shot.
Was the store employee who fired that shot ever placed under arrest or brought in, or how did that happen, because he did just discharge a weapon?
I believe he's cooperating with the investigation right now, and again, once this investigation is closed, there's a couple of different facets to it with the robbery thing and then the use of a firearm. The entire thing will get sent up to the prosecutor's office to be reviewed for not just the robbery part, but the use of a weapon in that.
And the person who was shot was 15, you say?
Yes, sir.
And obviously you're not releasing a name.
No, we can't.
Any idea the ages of the other two? Were they also teenagers?
I don't know, but I do have a description of them here that we'd like, again, the public's assistance in trying to locate these individuals. So, two suspects are still outstanding in this incident. One is described as wearing a blue sweatshirt with a hood up, black sweatpants, and had a mask covering his face. The second suspect is described as wearing a multicolored zip-up sweatshirt and with a red shirt underneath, black pants, and black shoes. Both individuals have masks on their face, so we don't really have a lot of information as to age or races because they were too covered up. So
You're talking like COVID masks? Or
there was like the surgical style masks that a lot of people wear these days.
Do you know, do you know why this business in particular was targeted? Was it just a crime of opportunity at that point? And have any other businesses in that area been targeted for robbery?
Not recent robberies in that area that I'm aware of. Again, I can't really speak to that because it's very early in the investigation. I think that would probably be something that might come out down the road once the detectives find out some more information about the case.
Do you have any surveillance video or pictures that would help us share with the public what these people look like?
There are some videos right now, but we're not releasing any of that right now just due to the nature of the ongoing investigation. So,
Can you say the age of the store employee?
honestly, I don't know. An adult male. So
And it was just the employee, not the owner?
I do not know if he was the owner or the employee. So, but he was on scene. He was the only individual in the store. We believe the individual who was shot in the chest, the 15-year-old, was the only person injured in this. But he did possess a legally owned firearm that he had the legal right to carry in the
Do you have any
business.
surveillance video that you might be able to release of this that would help us with showing these suspects? Because clearly you have a good description, so you must have gotten those from...
Yep, we don't have anything to release at this time. That could be an option down the road as the investigation moves on.
Can you say where in the store the shooting took place?
It was right. It's a very large open floor plan store, so it was basically in the middle of the floor of the store, right in the middle of the storefront. So
Were the two that got away able to steal anything or get anything before they fled?
I don't think anything was taken in the attempt there. All three individuals fled after there was the fight, and then the weapon was discharged, and all three individuals fled the store. I don't believe anything was obtained.
Do you have sorry, one last question.
You're fine.
Do you have a message for juveniles that are involved or doing this type of crime? I mean, stealing vehicles, but then also committing these types of robberies.
Well, thank you for asking that, because I would like to mention these two other individuals. We would like them to come in and turn themselves into us so we can talk to them. But as a general statement, I think this is unfortunately a prime example, like going back to the earlier question about what we see when juveniles or teenagers steal a car and are tempted to go out and commit a crime and think they're just going to get away with it or think no harm's going to come to them. This is an unfortunate incident of something we see like that. And we all know that youth plays a role sometimes in feeling that you're invincible. But, we would love to see this kind of stuff just kind of come to an end because regardless of the circumstances, nobody wants to see a 15-year-old kid get hurt.
Could I ask, did the 15-year-old have a juvenile record? Have you guys dealt with him or anyone dealt with him in the system before?
I don't know on that. So if I did, I couldn't comment because he's a juvenile.
Well, except for he's a juvenile who just tried to rob a place and got shot, so clearly that would be...
Yeah, and again, like I said, even if I did,
The public should know if a kid's been through the system over and over
Yep.
again.
And those things might come out a little later as this progresses on, but right now I can't comment on that. He is a 15-year-old, so.
Are you able to say if his family or his parents or guardians are cooperating with the investigation?
I do not actually have any information on that right now, so. But our detectives have probably been in contact with family members, so.